What does Toyota, Progressive, insurance companies, and your phone data all have to do with you probably getting denied a claim nowadays? Well, that's what we're talking about today, because I just came across the craziest article over on Motor One and I wanted to get your thoughts on it. But I also want to explain why this is a bigger deal than you think, because I think it's going to impact you. I'm AlexMartini. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for the support on the last video where we talked about Donut and Recaro and James and Speed. If you haven't had a chance, go check that one out as well. And if there's a way that you'd like to support, share this video with a friend. And of course, if you need car parts, go check out martiniworks.com. That is how I'm able to even afford the camera that I'm filming on. A subscription means the world, but that's not what this is about. This is about an article I came across on Motor One. And I want to explain this because this situation with the GR Corolla is wild. I don't know if you've heard this before, but GR Corollas, certain ones, seem to keep starting on fire. This happened in June, and now it's happened twice. It's not just about the fire though, it's about how Toyota is handling it. Now, let's start it off with Brian. Brian owns a 2023 Toyota GR Corolla Circuit Edition, and his car burst into flames on June 8th. This is a video that I'm gonna show you. Hopefully you don't freak out about it. It is quite a wild story, which just shows him driving casually on the highway to where he notices that his car started to have a little bit of an issue. He pulled over to the side of the road, noticed a little bit of smoke, and over the next kind of couple minutes, that smoke turned into a fire. It took 8 minutes from the time he called the firefighters to actually getting the fire put out, but by then, the front end of the car had been completely damaged. The car was gone. Now, he did have insurance on it and it didn't cover a portion of this car, but there was a remaining amount that still needed to be settled, to which he was gonna go to Toyota to process the remaining warranty claims so that he didn't have a negative balance, because you don't want to total your car, pay it off, and end up with a loan still. That's just the worst way to do things. Now here is how Toyota responded. There was an inspection done on June 24th where the odometer read 23,000 miles. This happened on a car that only had 23,000 miles. They then said on February 12th, there was an accident that was reported to the front left, and the front right, and the rear right. At the time of the inspection, the vehicle had damage to the front and the engine compartment. The inboard side of the engine block had a small hole on the upper side from internal engine damage. That whole comment you need to remember. Oil residue was found at the turbocharger, the bottom of the engine, the undercarriage, and the exhaust pipe. Now here is where it gets wild. The owner's manual warns to not drive in excess of the speed limit, even if the legal speed limit permits it. Do not drive over 85 miles an hour unless your vehicle has high speed capability tires, to which I'm pretty sure the Corolla comes with Michelin Pilot Sport 4S's that are rated to 186 or 182 miles an hour. Driving over 85 miles an hour may result in tire failure, loss of control, and possible injury. Be sure to consult the tire dealer to determine tires on your vehicle are high-speed capability tires. Based on our inspection findings and the facts relating to this incident, we cannot provide any further assistance in this matter. Now let's give Toyota the benefit of the doubt. They mentioned that there was an accident that was reported previously on the car that could have been the reason for the fire, except it wasn't. It was because he got stuck behind a utility vehicle that was kicking up rocks and scraping up the front end, and he reported it so that it could get repainted and refinished, all of which Brian has record for. Toyota says, we don't really care. Now here's where it gets even more wild. They said at some point in the car's life, this is from Toyota to Brian, they said at some point in the car's life, it sent out a data packet that included the car's speed. They wouldn't tell him when or where, and he doesn't know how relevant it is, but they said that the car had gone 114 miles an hour, and that is abuse of the vehicle. They don't care about the car. It's just wild to me. They sent a data packet that said the car at some time in its life had gone 114 miles an hour. They then tell him that he can't drive above 85 miles an hour, but the car comes with a track day. It is a track sports car. It is a GR Corolla Circuit Edition. It's got the 2-letter acronym on it. And Toyota says, maybe, don't really care. So somebody gets a brand new car, starts on fire, no rhyme or reason, not modified in any way that would inhibit this. Toyota says, go stuff it. One case situation, right? But this is where it starts to heat up, and this is why I get a little animated about this, because then there's another guy, and his name is Sebastian. He has a 2024 GR Corolla, and his burned all the way down. Not just the front, but like the whole thing. His started on fire on May 3rd, and he had 9,000 miles on the odometer. He was driving at home. He was on the highway in between California and I think Arizona, and unfortunately, he had a gap in his insurance, which is that's just shit. That's just terrible luck. That's just bad luck. Anyway, he got a notification through his Toyota Connect saying to check the engine. There was a malfunction in the electronic control, which he thought was weird. He didn't feel any loss in power, and then he started to see smoke in the front. Pulled the car over. Next thing you know, the car is on fire. Another GR Corolla is on fire. And the warranty claim was denied by Toyota, but didn't offer a specific reason other than the results being inconclusive. Both claims make mention of holes in the engine block that I talked about with Brian's GR Corolla, but what gets weirder is that it looks like the Toyota customer service, like resolution center, literally just copied what they said to Brian and sent it to Sebastian. Almost the same thing, claiming that there was a possible hole in the engine block observed from the front side, to where Sebastian says that's absolute bullshit. No, there wasn't. There was that, no. And it was a month of back and forth to get this inspected. Now, here's where it gets even weirder. The same legal claims analyst handled both of these cases, sent them the emails and the responses at the same time. But now everyone's talking about how Toyota is voiding a warranty if the data shows its cars exceeding 85 miles an hour. Toyota said that they looked into this and they said all claims are reviewed individually. And while we look at many attributes, including vehicle data, dealer records, witness statements, and other information, they believe that they're not acting in any way outside of what would void a typical warranty. So why does this matter to you? Why do two random GR Corollas starting on fire matter? And there's two big things. Number one, when you look at why Brian's coverage was denied, they make mention not once, but twice about the fact that the car at some point in its life had exceeded 85 miles an hour. They make one mention about 85 and another mention about 114. And then they confirm that that's because the car is sending data packets to and from Toyota, as well as likely some other places like insurance, like Progressive, like the little plug-in thing that you have. And the next thing you know, they're denying your claim because at some point in your driving behavior, you sped. Somehow that has any relation to a car starting on fire, and this is good enough for Toyota to say, no, your warranty is null and void. And this is happening more and more and more with new cars. If you guys and gals don't know this, there are so many new things coming to new cars that are like the biggest just kind of cuck attitude you could possibly have in a sports car. The very first thing, EU has passed a notification where anytime you're going above the speed limit by even 1 mile per hour, it starts to ding at you. There's actually cars already here in the United States, specifically in California, that already have this technology built in, because guess what? California is gonna be the first state to implement this. That to me is insane. Maybe I'm getting old, maybe I'm getting grumpy, but I'm getting pissed off at the fact that these new cars have this kind of tech. And in addition to that, there's absolutely zero data privacy when it comes to you owning one of these new vehicles. Because I owned a brand new 2023 Nissan Z. And when I went through the process of buying it, at no point was there an option for me to opt out of any of those data collection methods. And if there was, it was hiding behind 30,000 different pages of paperwork on owning a brand new car. The car that I had, the Nissan that I had, sent me a goddamn report card for how I did when I was driving every month in terms of how often I drove, how many miles I drove, how did I drive, how was my fuel efficiency, all of these sort of things, which seems nice on the surface, but when I see a car that's specifically built for driving like a sports car for driving off-road. They claim it's a rally car, for Christ's sake, pretty much. And it is built by Gazoo Racing to then be denied a warranty because you're going slightly above the speed limit on data that they're collecting from you that you may not even know that they are, to me is just absolutely bonkers. This is happening more and more and more. And I don't understand how to fix it. I don't understand if there's a way around this, but this situation is continuing to get even weirder and weirder because Progressive and Allstate and these other insurance companies that you see out there, they are also working with these vehicle manufacturers to provide information based on the app that you have installed on your phone. You can put your tin caps on if you want. I know I sound a little crazy, but this is a very true and actual thing that's happening right now. The amount of data that an average human is processing right now on the internet or on their phone is expected to double in the next 2 years, and it is 10 times more than what it was 2 years ago, meaning the amount of information we're processing through a computer or through a phone is just skyrocketing. And all of these grubby little dick beater hands from that's weird, from insurance companies and from vehicle manufacturing companies, from Google and from Apple, they're all trying to gather as much as they can about you so that they can kind of use it against you, it feels like. Progressive monitors your driving behavior even when you're not using the app when you're on your phone, which is wild to me. Which means if you are processing a claim and you go out there, chances are Progressive is sending data information to Toyota, to Ford, to General Motors, to whoever they need to, so that they don't have to pay for anything. Because nobody wants to pay for anything, and they always want to just stuff it to the consumer, who is you and who's me, who's already having a rough day. Because guess what? Their fucking car already burned down. You can't get much worse than that. And yet for some reason, while Brian and Sebastian are on the ground, kind of in their corner crying, Toyota is then looking at him and saying, sorry. At some point, your computer, your vehicle, or your app, your little insurance Progressive app, sent us information that said one time you went a little bit fast, and because of that, we're not going to be able to do anything about it. Also, we can't really tell what started the fire, so we can't really help you. To me, that is super messed up. Toyota is one of those brands that has become, I would argue, one of the best in the business. But Toyota Corporate and Gazoo Racing obviously do not have a very good relationship in terms of figuring out what is happening with their cars. So Toyota, figure out what's happening with your GR Corollas. Because if you're going to sell a sports car, if you're going to sell a high performance car that comes with a track day, that talks about how even if you go to a track day, it's still included, you can't deny a warranty for when a car with under 10,000 miles randomly starts on fire. And the fact that these companies are talking to each other through data that you don't even know about on your phone, to me, is insane. And that is why I own old pieces of shit, which, by the way, if you want to watch me build old pieces of shit, you can actually do that by subscribing. Now, does that seem a little conspiracy theorist? Maybe. But there is something wild going on right now, especially on the data side of things when it comes to brand new cars. And I would love to hear your thoughts. But that is why I think it should matter to you. Because if you don't care about this yet, I have a feeling you will. When you finally process your first insurance claim and it gets denied because of something you didn't know they were recording, I think that's wild. To me, it reminds me of like the Subaru days with like the WRX, with the track days or off-road days where they blew up and the same thing happened. It reminds me of the days with the GTRs, when the GTRs came out and they came out with all this fancy tech and then you used it and then it blew up and then Nissan was like, well, actually, we can't honor your warranty. You were using it for racing purposes. It's like, son of a bitch, you put a launch control in the car that you told me I could use, and then I use it and my transmission or differential blows up and now my warranty is void because I used the same thing you told me to use? It's insane. Buy used cars, get old rust buckets, buy pieces of shit, build them yourself. It's way more fun. I'm AlexMartini. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know what you think below. And of course, share this with a friend that might be thinking about getting a GR Corolla, because in all honesty, it's not looking very good, in my opinion. But could turn around. I could be completely wrong. If you work at Toyota and you're the person that denied these warranties, get f***ing bent. You're a dick. All right. Love you. Bye. Hey!